series of computer mainframes, machines supposedly powerful enough to build the first prototype for a sentient computer. IBM's centerpiece at the World's Fair was a giant egg-shaped pavilion, designed by the celebrated husband and wife team of Charles and Ray Eames. The size of a blimp, the egg was erected on a forest of 45 stylized 32-foot-tall sheet metal trees, a total of 14,000 grey and green plexiglass leaves fanning out to create a sizable 1-acre canopy. Reachable only via a specially installed hydraulic lift, the egg welcomed in excited fair attendees so that they could sit in a high-tech screening room and watch a video on the future of artificial intelligence. "See it, think, and marvel at the mind of man and his machine," wrote one giddy reviewer, borrowing the think tagline that had been IBM's since the 1920s. IBM showed off several impressive technologies at the event. One was a groundbreaking handwriting recognition computer, which the official fair brochure referred to as an optical scanning and information retrieval system. This demo allowed visitors to write an historical date of their choosing, post-1851, in their own handwriting on a small card. That card was then fed into an optical character reader, where it was converted into digital form and then relayed once more to a state-of-the-art IBM 1460 computer system. Major news events were stored on disk in a vast database, and the results were then printed onto a commemorative punch card for the amazement of the user. A surviving punch card reads as follows. "The following news event was reported in the New York Times on the date that you requested. April 14th, 1963, 30,000 pilgrims visit Jerusalem for Easter. Pope John the 23rd prays for truth and love in man." Should a person try and predict the future, as of course some wag did on the very first day, the punch card noted, "Since this date is still in the future, we will not have access to the events of this day for, insert number, days." Another demo featured a mechanized puppet show, apparently fashioned after 18th century prototypes, depicting Sherlock Holmes solving a case using computer logic. Perhaps most impressive of all, however, was a computer that bridged the seemingly unassailable gap between the United States and Soviet Union by translating effortlessly, or what appeared to be effortlessly, between English and Russian. This miraculous technology was achieved thanks to a dedicated data connection between the World's Fair's IBM exhibit and a powerful IBM mainframe computer 114 miles away in Kingston, New York, carrying out the heavy lifting. Machine translation was a simple but brilliant summation of how computers' clear-thinking vision would usher us towards utopia. The politicians may not have been able to end the Cold War, but they were only human, and with that came all the failings one might expect. Senators, generals, and even presidents were severely lacking in what academics were just starting to call machine intelligence. Couldn't smart machines do better? At the 1964 World's Fair, an excitable public was being brought up to date on the most optimistic vision of researchers. Artificial intelligence brought with it the suggestion that, if only the innermost mysteries of the human brain could be eked out and replicated inside a machine, global harmony was somehow assured. Nothing summed this up better than the official strapline of the fair: "Peace through understanding." Predicting the future. Two things stand out about the vision of artificial intelligence as expressed at the 1964 New York World's Fair. The first is how bullish everyone was about the future that awaited them. Despite the looming threat of the Cold War, the 1960s was an astonishingly optimistic decade in many regards. This was, after all, the 10-year stretch which began with President John F. Kennedy announcing that within a decade man would land on the moon, and ended with exactly that happening. If that was possible, there seemed no reason why unraveling and recreating them